This one time I was on my way to volunteer at a food bank for some extracurricular thing for my high school. I was up in time for mom to take me and I rode shotgun while she drove. But I fell asleep for a while because it was so early and I was so tired. When I woke up, the car was stopped. Mom had parked the car on a road I didn't recognize, and she was asleep in the driver's seat. So I woke her up and I asked what happened, and she just started panicking as she realized we were very late. And she was angry at me too for letting her sleep, as if I even knew. I arrived at the food bank, but by that time we were way too late. I approached some people still around a building on a gravel parking lot, and I asked if there was anything left that I could do for them. They asked me who I was, so I told them that I was from my high school, I was supposed to volunteer today, here's a sign-up sheet that I did, but they told me that there was nothing left to do, so I turned to go back to the car. But that's when I tripped over my own foot. I landed in the gravel, and rocks embedded themselves into craters in my leg, almost flush with my skin. My hand went to wipe them away, and out came blood, but it wasn't blood. It was colored and textured weird. Instead of a familiar liquid red blood, it was more like a sauce, and it was more like a neon red. It looked kind of like marinara, and it covered my entire leg in all but an instant. Gross. Dmitri Mendeleev was a Russian chemist during the mid to late 1800s, famous not only for correctly predicting missing elements and their properties such as atomic weight and melting points in the then unfinished periodic table, but for his method of doing so: falling asleep. A dream revealed to Mendeleev exactly how to arrange the table, which led to his correct predictions of gallium, scandium, germanium, rhenium, polonium, francium, protactinium, and even technetium, a metal so rare that the people who discovered it never discovered it. They created it in a cyclotron, not naturally. That's how rare this element is. An element so rare that other than the trace amounts deep in the Earth's crust, and of course those lab-made atoms, it is found only after nuclear fission, which wasn't discovered for another 50 years. That's how rare this element is. Season 2, Episode 17 of Avatar: The Last Airbender included a dream sequence for one of the main characters, Zuko. The dream was a reflex, nothing more, a symptom of a terrible, aching fever onset because of a choice that Zuko made that was outside of his typical ethos. So much so that his body had an innate physical reaction. And this dream is laced with symbolism, vivid and floaty imagery and sound, yet also full of impossible and unnerving detail. Dragons are thought to be extinct by this point in the show, yet two of them hold a private council with the future Fire Lord Zuko. Neither of them give him a direct answer to his current struggle, but they make certain demands.
Just let go. Give in to it. Shut your eyes for a while.
No, Fire Lord Zuko. Do not listen to the blue dragon.
One asks him to leave. The other asks that he fall asleep, but the order in which they do so seems flipped. Their voices are familiar, but opposite to the norm. One sounds like his sister, but it is lulling. It's familiar. It's asking him to fall asleep, which innately isn't a bad thing. But the other sounds like his uncle, but his voice is harsh.
No, Fire Lord Zuko.
It's atypical.
Do not listen to the blue dragon.
And it's asking him to get out.
Right now. Go! Before it's too late.
There was this one time, I was standing on one of the dirt roads at my friend Nick's family farm. It was a spot I'd only been to one other time. Facing forward, away from where we came, had an open field of grass on my left, and a simple wire fence protecting some properly grazed grass on my right. We drove an aged four-wheeler with a pale yellow cushion poking out of the peeling seats, which he nicknamed the Machine. He'd had it for pretty much all of his life. He wanted to show me something. Basically, because Nick's dad is, or maybe he was, I don't really know what he gets up to these days, a mechanic, Nick wanted to show me a car. There was a dented up, dusty, ugly-looking gray minivan along this dirt path, and we stopped near it, and he showed me the inside. It was a total beater, inside and out. The interior once had a carpet, but it was junky and torn in every spot almost, stained and stinky. "Check this out," he said. I watched him punch the ceiling, or maybe he just pulled something down that made a loud pop sound, but he reached his arms out while squatting between the two middle seats and pulled down hidden speakers of some sort, connected by wires. There's no way those speakers are standard now that I look back at it, but He put those speakers to his ears and remarked, "Headphones." And I don't remember why, but that really made me laugh, like belly laugh. And I laughed and laughed until I saw some black smoke trailing something in the tall grass. I pulled him out of the van, and he watched with me. We'd never seen this before. There was purple in the grass. It got closer, and we realized it wasn't purple, it was blue and red mixed. And there was a loud siren. My ears were splitting. Then it was confirmed. There was a cop car chasing a bright orange muscle car. It looked like it could have been from a 70s movie. The orange car ramped off of the bank near the dirt road and flew over us, with the cop chasing directly behind it. The muscle car clipped the top of the van we were standing near, which slid into us and knocked us off our feet. The car nosedived into the dirt on the other side of the road, and the cop landed right on top, where they both exploded. A huge orangey fireball engulfed everything. It was such an abrupt, dark turn. My hands were cold, but my head was sweaty when I sat up. I think I was nervous. I wasn't scared, but I was concerned. I didn't get it. Still, that's not a dream I'd consider relatively scary. Not like the rest of my family's dreams. My dad once spent a whole evening researching bear survival strategies after a dream about a bear chasing him. We live in the city. We've never been camping. My sister has had recurring dreams of stalkers or killers. These are scary dreams, but mine, they're not scary how a bear or a killer is. It was more shocking than scary. I thought it was cool. I wanted more, even though I was sure I definitely died in that dream. I was furious, but I was calm. I was fine, but I was desperate. I can't for the life of me explain it. I don't even know what to say about it. Just like that one, a lot of my dreams are just so close to real life that I hardly notice when they're not. I don't bat an eye when something unimaginable happens because everything else was so normal. But why are these particular dreams so vivid? Why do I remember them more than any other dream I've ever had? They don't mean anything, and they don't do anything for me. Or maybe I just don't get it, and maybe that's what frustrates me. Maybe it frustrates me that that explosion might have been an omen of some sort, a prophecy or a prediction. It might have been something, but I just don't get it. So now I want to see it again. I want to feel that explosion again. It was like I could feel the heat for real. I want my sweaty forehead back. Or maybe it frustrates me that I'm just thinking that. Maybe truly none of my dreams are worth remembering at all. Maybe that one in particular sticks with me because of just how normal it was for its majority. Just for it to ultimately mean nothing. It was the most vivid dream I've ever had, but why? Even after I woke up, I had trouble determining that it was truly a dream at all. That's how many of mine are, and don't get me wrong, those surreal yet realistic dreams are often a delight. They don't always make me angry, but this one in particular did. While they can leave me disturbed or nervous or uncomfortable, I guess I do have an artistic appreciation for them on some level. There's been quite a few times in my life where I've been driving a car that's not mine. I'm not afraid of driving. In fact, I love driving a lot, but these particular times that I was driving, I was totally out of control. Once, I was driving around a construction yard. I was confident that I was in the driver's seat, but it was as if I was watching it from a third-person isometric view outside of my body like a top-down video game. It was framed in my brain like an arena for this giant wrecking ball to bash my car in over and over with me inside it, knocking me around like how a child might play with toy cars. Speaking of toy cars, there was another time I was behind the wheel, again, but this time in a typical fashion, first person, 10 and 2. For some reason, I was treating it all like a big game of bumper car. On this highway, I crashed into multiple cars, piled them up, and even destroyed just about everything in sight. This other time, it was just an exceptionally fast car that I couldn't quite control, but could perfectly control at the same time. I don't know how to describe it, but every time I turned the wheel, it was super responsive, but I was just bad at it. Still, the strange feelings of speed and rush left me super anxious. One thing that keeps these all in common are they are extremely loud. Each time when I woke up, it was as if I was coming down from this fever-induced high and my ears were ringing, or that I dreamt that I fell off of a building and I could still hear the wind rushing past me. I felt floaty, but I felt small. I felt like I could see myself, or that my vision was strained in some way, despite my closed eyes. A migraine, but also not quite a migraine. There was no pain, it was just different. Alice in Wonderland syndrome. I've heard this abstract, scale-altering feeling called before, but I'm not in Wonderland, I'm in real life. It's dreamy and floaty feeling. It's unhinged. This one other time I was in Walmart. Well, actually I was just walking inside the Walmart. I passed between two of those big blue poles out front on the sidewalk as people were walking past me. Bang! What I was sure was a gunshot got everybody panicking. I never saw a shooter or a gunman of any kind. I certainly wasn't holding the gun, nor anybody else near me. I never even saw anybody shot. Still, it was loud, it was jarring and alerting. It sounded like it had blasted in both of my ears simultaneously, over both of my shoulders, against my head even. But then I wasn't even at Walmart anymore. I can't remember where I was next. Maybe I was nowhere, or maybe I was everywhere. All I knew is I couldn't see anything. And not just darkness. I mean, I didn't see anything because there was nothing, or maybe I just felt like there was nothing. The thing that is nothing, I felt like I saw it, if that makes sense. But I heard it again. Twice again. A third time, fourth, then a fifth before I finally woke up late in the night. Now, unlike the muscle cars and the out-of-control cars that I drove, I can confidently put my finger on this particular dream. At 14 or 15, from my kitchen, eating cereal at 2 in the morning on a weekend during the school year, I heard 5 bangs before I went to bed. 2 at first, then 3 more just a moment later. Loud, yet far away physically and far away mentally, unmistakable yet unknowable. Perhaps it wasn't what I thought it was. I convinced myself it wasn't what I thought it was. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was a Schrader-Brow situation. No, I'm sure I heard someone die. My house has always been safe, though my neighborhood is degrading. I've never had a real incident on my block, but still I never figured out what happened. Despite a phone call to my mom, who works the night shift and in turn called the police to report it, I never learned what became of that sound. Then when I went to bed, I had that dream. That's no coincidence. It was like 2 dreams stitched together, really. That's how a lot of my dreams are too. Loud, textured, colored, yet unknowable, abstract, weird. At least that one made some sense to me, but that one is alone. How come many of my dreams aren't more intelligible? In dreams, what do bright, flashy colors mean? In dreams, what does it mean when your teeth fall out? In dreams, what do high speeds mean? In dreams, what do loud sounds mean? In dreams, what do weird textures mean? In an episode of the Cartoon Network show Clarence titled In Dreams, we get what I think is the closest depiction to a dream-like mind that I've ever seen in any media ever. Take away the magic-like events that take place in the titular character's brain after he becomes lucid, after finding out that he's in a dream. Everything in the episode is ever so close to being normal, but is still somewhat off-putting. It's not like most in the series. It's not happy or goofy. It's abstract, and it's surreal, and it's even sad. It's concerning, it's attention-grabbing, it's somber. Shifting scales never let you get comfortable where you're sitting. Familiar faces, family and friends seem distorted and disturbing and combined. Objects are not in their natural place. There's an arcade cabinet in the kitchen. A door that never existed hidden in the wall trim behind the couch. Mrs. Baker and Mr. Reese sit on the ceiling. All of these things and more add to an air that seems utterly alien. There's a boy that doesn't even exist. Can the brain even do that? I've always heard that the brain can't develop new faces when dreaming, but I've recently read some articles that say that it can do so. I've read about a process called face mixing, combining parts of people's faces and fleshing it out until there is a new person that emerges. That's gotta be pure conjecture though, right? How can someone even know something like that? I've seen a billion faces in my dreams that I'll never know and will never know. Public settings like banks or grocery stores are littered with fake customers in my sleep. I don't even have to think about it. Everyone's thoughts that I've read talk so confidently as if they could prove for certain they saw a face-mixed person in their own dreams, or can prove the exact opposite, that a new face has popped up. But how could one even know something like that? Well, some dreams are just different. I haven't really been talking about dreams if you haven't picked that up. I've really been talking about something completely else, a different dream thing. What it boils down to is I think that I'm jealous of dreams that make sense because mine kind of leave me wanting more. I guess I don't know exactly what I'm dreaming of at all. Am I dreaming of genius or some sort of achievement in my field like Mendeleev? Am I dreaming of insight or wisdom like Zuko? Maybe I'm frustrated because I'm dreaming of nothing like Clarence. But that's not the kind of dream I'm talking about. Am I dreaming of landing my dream job? Am I dreaming of bigger things? Am I dreaming of getting a move on? Something like the American dream? Am I dreaming to be different? Am I living the dream? Am I dreaming big enough? Am I dreaming at all? What even are my dreams? Well, let me dig into that. I guess I dream to make art. I want to make art in some capacity. Games and videos. Maybe scripts for movies or TV. Novels and stories. And hey, I'm starting at least. But am I dreaming big enough? Or too big? I dream of just going and going. I dream of just going. I dream of getting on with it all. I want to get me a wife, get me some kids, some grandkids, get me some land, get me enough to provide for it all, get me enough to give it to them all, get me enough to do whatever the hell I want to do. I shouldn't need a dream job because I shouldn't need to work for these things. My kids shouldn't have to work for it either. Or well, actually, I take it back. Maybe I dream that everyone, including me, including them, including everybody, should work for these things. Maybe I dream that nobody who doesn't work should eat. Maybe I dream for change in more than just myself in that regard. Society as a whole, maybe. The world, maybe. I dream about that kind of thing, maybe. Maybe I just dream. Maybe I dream and dream and dream and it means nothing. What a nightmare. Maybe I think that a dream and $1 in one hand is probably worth nothing more than $1. Maybe I'm nervous that no matter how big I dream, no matter how vivid they are, how prophetic or symbolic or how important they are, I just won't get it. Or maybe that I'll squander it, I'll waste it. Maybe on the other hand, I'm nervous because I am dreaming too big. Maybe the things that I want aren't realistic. Maybe a wife and a lot of kids and a lot of land and a lot of guns and a lot of protection and a lot of everything isn't realistic enough. So then, what should I be dreaming of? How do you answer such a question? What a nightmarish question. A megalophobic question. What should I be dreaming of?